Center for Justice and Peace Studies. Okay, sorry, Mr. Howard. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right, the man from the International Alert is Mr. Joseph Yarsiah, Program Manager. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, you need to come closer to that mic and speaking to that microphone.
Morning.
Okay, now you sound better.
Good.
All right, the well-known household name, Mr. Cecil Griffiths. NDA is already here. Cecil, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, this morning we're talking about SAFE, Security Action for Everyone, SAFE, SAFE. This is a project being undertaken by the CDAC and the European Commission and being implemented by International Alert, the Center for Justice and Peace Studies, and the Liberia National Law Enforcement Association. They're all represented here by these three gentlemen. Let me say welcome again, and let me begin with any one of you. This is a Security Action for Everyone project. How did it come about? The genesis of it, I see you're looking at Mr. Yarsiah from International Alert. Yeah, but International Alert, I think I've heard of that. Is that an NGO?
Yeah, it's an international NGO.
NGO, yeah, International Alert. Well, what are you centered around?
Peace building and conflict resolution.
Peace building and conflict resolution.
Yes.
Alright. Now, the initiation of this Security Action for Everyone project, how did it come about?
Well, there were a couple of other projects that were done in the years past. This project is predicated on the fact that there have been tensions between communities and the police over the years that we've seen that led to major demonstration, burning of police stations, and also the way citizens have already vented their feelings about police treatment in certain cases. We felt that it was important now, on the withdrawing from Liberia, the elections coming, that we start having a conversation about how to deal with these perceptions, deal with the actual allegations, but not from a legal perspective, but from a perspective of dialogue, where the community and the police can sit together and talk about the issues, rather than it getting to a point where it is out of hand and people get hurt. So that's the idea of the project. We feel that the project is sponsored by the Swedish government and the European Union. It's in 4 counties: Montserrado, Bong, Lofa, and Nimba Counties, across 35 communities. There are different activities we do with the project, but the major activity is to set the community down together and first of all discuss the security issues that they have, from armed robbery to gangs to drugs issues. And then at a certain point bring the police in to discuss, one, how do we handle the issues of lack of capacity, lack of funding for the police, 2 o'clock in the morning there's an armed robbery, what happened, how can we collaborate on those issues? But also, how do you deal with the issue of how people feel about each other? These two stakeholders, how do you feel about each other? Because if the relationship is not good, then obviously the relationship, there's not going to be progress now. Police have feel a certain way about communities, from accusation of community harboring criminals to also communities feel that the police charge them for paid services that it shouldn't be paid for. So again, the idea is that when we start working together and sitting down and talking about these issues, there can be room for improvement. We know it's not going to solve all the problems, but we're very hopeful, we're optimistic.
And I see here that you launched this project with the hope of contributing to enhancing citizens' access to quality and responsive security services. How do you get about that?
Well, first of all, we feel like citizens should be a part of the process. A lot of the time, security issues are not on the table for regular Liberians to make contributions, and they are the ones who are affected by it. So our whole idea is that how can citizens make meaningful contribution to the process? How can they have their voice? And also, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
And by doing that, be informed. The idea is that we can have citizens be informed about what happened. I'll give you an example. If you ask an open-ended question about, do you know what police are supposed to do? Yes or no? Most of the people in the local communities will tell you yes. If you actually ask them, give me an example, they
what
really,
the police should do.
yeah, specific example on facts they don't know. But if you're going to hold the police accountable for something that you really don't know, actually, then there's an issue of perception. And if it is wrong, you can hold them wrongly accountable. And so the idea is that we want to inform them, we want to build that capacity about these security issues, and make sure they can make contributions to this.
All right, let me bring in Mr. Howard from the Center for Justice and Peace Studies. You are a part of this project, this SAFE project, Security Action for Everyone. What is your own role as the Center for Justice and Peace Studies into this project?
Thank you so much. As you said, we have 3 partners, international and being the lead partner. We also have LINLEA, with the president sitting here. We are involved in the community mobilization, the community engagement processes of the whole process of this project. So we are involved in the peace building, meaning bringing the community people together to be able to discuss those security issues, and then bring their voices out to the open at the county level and then up to the national level, so that as it is often said that a problem half discussed and shared is halfway to a solution. So we believe that in holding these dialogue sessions, issues our community have, especially negative perception about their relationship with the police, those issues can be clarified, and with the presence of police in some of the dialogue sessions, these police can now also add to the clarification about their role and what their challenges are. And with that understanding, community people can now say, look, I think we need to do it together. It's about inclusive approach in looking at security issues so that our community can be peaceful. So that's the role we are playing. I can remember we're in one of the communities in Bong, in Bong County, where we have gone with the police for Bong County to hold this discussion. And the community people said, look, initially we thought that police people were our enemies. And when we see them coming, we used to run in the bushes. You know, those were things that came from elderly people. So we used to run when we hear that the police is coming, we run. Because we thought they were just after us. But with the dialogue sessions, we have gotten to know that no, police are our children, they are our brother, and they are our friends. And this time when there are issues in the community, we can now call them. So this is the role that CJPS has been playing to see how we can bridge that gap that has been created because of the negative perception that they have against each other. So you will see that one of our goals is to strengthen, though we know their relationship existing, but to strengthen that relationship so that they become a relationship of mutual understanding of each other's role and support to the processes of each other. So holding each other accountable, community people holding police and police holding a community people accountable. So this is the role that CJPS is playing.
So let me ask any one of you, perhaps you, Yarsiah, or Mr. Howard, Department Griffiths, is it that there's this harmony between communities and the police, or the ordinary citizens and police, that you try to bring them together to find some common ground as to how to, access security issues?
Yeah, there are issues. For example, one of the major concerns about residents, especially in the rural areas, when it comes to police, is there's this idea that they are constantly asked to pay for police services, transportation, to get the police to go to a crime scene, to effect arrest, and most of them do not have the money. And so what happens if you don't have the money, you don't have justice? And so these are the concerns that we're talking about. Again, we can discuss it from a court perspective, but we can also discuss that at the community level, where we can bring the police to actually sit in front of the community and tell them, actually, should you pay us? The police commander should tell the community, and the actual answer to that is no, we shouldn't pay for police services. What happens behind that? That's the conversation that needs to happen face to face. We can't discuss this in the world, but they have to be discussed where they actually happen, what the commander for that area, the police that is assigned to that area, can sit with the people he's protecting and then discuss it. And where they feel disenfranchised, they're going to revolt. And these are the things we're trying to avoid. So if you sit down together and you discuss it, there can be common ground. So what are the facts? And past the facts, how can we collaborate?
And in addition to that, it's about sometimes when information are not readily given to people, they react negatively because they don't understand the underlying factor. Let me come back to what Joe just said concerning payment for service that police should do. The citizens do not know that police also have constraints. Okay, they do not know that they have constraints. So until the police can say, look, this is what we can do. We only have one vehicle, and we have more than I don't know how many districts. And when you call this place, the vehicle is here. How do we commute from maybe Bamu to all the way to Wenshu just within a split second, and there's a crime going on? So this kind of thing needs to be a screen, and community people now will say, look, I think there's a need for us to sit together to explore a means of working together to address some of the challenges that our police are facing to help us fight crime together. It's about a collective approach in fighting criminal activities and also enhancing the relationship between community and police. That's what we.
Okay, now Cecil, I know you come from a law enforcement background and are president of the Liberia National Law Enforcement Association. Being a member of this project, what's the role of your own organization in this project?
Well, we came in because of our connection with the law enforcement community. We were able to get the acquaintances, mobilize the police, get them to accept the project and work along with the project. And we played two different significant activity roles. Like one is to carry community members to the police stations to pay a visit to their local police. Most often when people go to the police station, it's they're either going there to lodge a complaint against somebody or to answer to a complaint. But we developed an idea that we can carry community members to interact with the police officers there, try to find out, their role, the challenges, speak with the commander. If they have questions about, the work of the police, the commander then answers them, and they take a tour of the police station, look at the cell, look at the different offices, and then do an assessment. So, well, I think this police station is good. I mean, environmental wise is good. The physical space is correct, or there are issues like they went to Flompa police depot, and the visitors there found out that there were no toilet facilities. The building was in a very poor condition, and they were able to make an assessment. They went to another police station. There were no signposts to say that this is a police station, and they were able to tell the commander, well, you need to do something. So by bringing the community members to the police station just to sit down and talk with the police officers, talk with the police commander, it gives them that that assurance that yes, well, these guys are really they are really open to work along with us. I remember there was a lady who went with the visitors to the Banga police station, and after the discussions, they said, well, I didn't know that the police were good guys. I remember one time I was on the road late in the evening, trying to get a car to get to Banga, and the police car stopped for me and wanted to offer me a lift, and I told him no. I mean, I'm sorry, I've already reached my destination. He said she was afraid of the police at that time, but the interaction with the police commander and the police officers, she felt that yes, I think these guys are doing a great job, and she even recommended that the police station should have a special room, a small room for strangers, people who are passing through. If they get stranded overnight, that they can just go to the police station, have a rest, and in the morning go about their business. That's the first part activity. The second one is we visited public schools, 15 public schools in the 4 counties, to interact with the students, particularly the senior class, tell them the role of the police. And we had with us a member of the Professional Standards Division of the Liberian National Police, who explained the process of filing complaints against police officers, because most times people say, well, I'm victimized by a police officer, but I don't know how I can
Seek redress.
exactly. And so we had this guy there explaining. We had brochures, and we explained again the role of the citizen. Yes, the role of the police is to protect your life, protect your property, assist you, arrest criminals. But what is your own role? And we also zero around the issue of mob violence. Should we get involved in mob violence? And we try to gauge the perception of the students regarding what they feel about the police. And they were able to bring out certain issues. Like one of them said, can the police officer arrest a student while in uniform? Those type of questions. And they say yes. I mean, if you go out there and you commit a crime, you can be arrested even in your uniform. Yeah, so there were some clarifications made, some explanations done, and at the end of the whole process for last year, we convened what we call advocacy meetings, where the recommendations and the issues raised from both the visits, the school awareness, and the community dialogues were elevated to a level where we had the executives of the police attend, and we were able to pass on most of the issues that were generated from the activities and the recommendations. And I think one recommendation that the police took, which they have started implementing, is that we said in order to hold police officers accountable, they need to be identified anywhere they go. And we now see that the police have started issuing numbers. The police officer, each one has a number. And we see now that some of them are carrying these numbers. And we also will be engaging the police to make sure that every police officer carry that number so that they can be identified.
Now, Mr. Yarsiah, you mentioned that you're in 4 counties, Montserrado, Bong, Nimba, and Lofa. Is there a reason why you only have these 4 counties, why you chose these 4 counties?
It's a pilot project to begin with. Montserrado being the capital, we wanted to see the dynamics of how police and residents interact here. Lofa and Nimba being far enough, most of the time lack the capacity from the police perspective as well, and just the growing population in Bong County as a whole. Obviously, there are calls to expand everywhere we go, from stakeholders to communities to the police. We think these conversations should be happening everywhere in the country. Just a matter of funding and a matter of capacity. But these 4 counties were just built for capacity, for pilot.
And you've been around for about a year now with this project. Close to a year. Close to a year now. So what are some of the implements of this project in these 4 counties?
Sorry, I missed that.
What are some of the implementations you've done in these 4 counties as regards the project?
Like we said, we are the lead organization, and these are our 2 partners. But again, we are having monthly dialogues, which we think are very effective. We are having police visitation, where, like Mr. Griffiths was talking about, where residents can visit the police stations. I mean, if you go to the police station, obviously residents think it's something else, but now they can interact at the stations. We're having school visitations. We're looking at police and civic education. We're also meeting with stakeholders to figure out what is the way that we all can sit down at the national level and the county level to air some of these major issues and talk about it. And obviously, we're going to extend, and we're going to also start looking at the motorcycles. We're going to bring them into the conversation as well, because they're also a major agent, especially in the rural areas as well.
Mr. Howard, you care to add up on some of the projects you've implemented so far in 4 counties?
Yeah, mostly we said the dialogue sessions, but out of the dialogue, there are other results that were not intended to come up. For example, in some of the communities, we gave a little token for having the dialogue sessions for refreshment. Some of the communities said, no, taking this little and then consuming it every dialogue section, it won't impact on the community, it will be impacting on individuals, only those that will be in the dialogue sessions at that time. So what they did was they said, look, we can save this amount and do something. So some of the community were able to to buy zinc. They are constructing their own little palava hall where they can hold their dollar section. Some of them had to fence the public home where it was just used loosely, and there were conflict emanating from that. So a lot of other things are doing. Some buy chairs that they can rent out and generate more fund from. So those are other things that we really plan. Let me just bring to our attention that sometimes you plan projects and you implement them. There are some intended results that come out. The intended result can be both either positive or negative. In this case, I wanted to bring the recording that we just played, a little short, but I couldn't get it out of the phone. In one of our communities in Telemek in Lofa County, one teacher, another person, came out and said, look, the project you people brought here, this project is making our chief, they're not getting money anymore. So, right away for him and the chief, it's negative because it's not making a pot to boil. But for us, it's a positive because we want to reduce the number of cases that are going this legal way, but people can sit and talk about it, and then it increases. That's transformation rather than just adjudicating, going to the court, and then you are wrong and finding another way to get at you. But when we talk together and agree that, oh, this is it, you pay a little fine, or we just harmonizing the dollar section, that is more positive. So the old man said, I said, but that's a great achievement that we need to flag out and capture that as a story of change. That the old man is saying that many cases are not now going to the dollar section as compared to the ones that are going to the chiefs. But he said at the end of that, when one of our staff was the one engaged, he said, look, what do you think about it? He said, I want the program to stay here. I want it to stay. And in fact, this coming Friday, myself will go and be part of the dollar section. So you see, it is actually helping to open up and create a space for people to discuss issues that may be a potential conflict, especially violent conflict, that may erupt the whole peace that we've tried to sustain. And this is our goal, that we sustain the gains that we have made on the peace in this country. And this is our goal, and that's what this project strives to do. And we hope that donor partners can learn from this pilot phase and see how they can support further projects like this to go to other counties that we are not operating right now.
All right, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show. We're talking to Mr. Joseph Yarsiah. He's Program Manager of International Alert. Mr. Joseph Howard, Executive Director, Center for Justice and Peace Studies, and Mr. Cecil Griffiths, the President, Liberia National Law Enforcement Association. Now, all of these projects are Mr. Yarsiah, Mr. Howard, Mr. Griffiths, these projects that you carried out in these 4 counties and in 35 communities. You want to tell us about some of the successes? I know you say that you've been able to bring communities and the police together. What are some of the other successes and perhaps the constraints that you face in this kind of work?
I think I would want to start from there. I would start from some of the comments that some police officers made in the discussion. They said, look, you people are helping to make our work much more easy. Now some communities can call us when there are crimes or some criminal activities being carried out somewhere. They can call us something that they couldn't do before. Yeah, and I see that as a change within the way the relationship was like. I could not call you because I didn't have trust. So it is helping to increase that trust and confidence between the police and our community people. That is happening. And one thing that sometimes the physical projects, things are like construction and so you can easily see that. But what helps to change the behavior pattern of people? Sometimes it takes a time before you notice it, but it's really the action that they carry out that you will know, yes, there's a change going on. The action being done, for example, reporting crime when they are being committed. The action now being they can walk to the police and knowing their line of line to follow when they're following up on their cases. For example, the hub is there. They know now that because we are also working alongside with the hub, we collaborate with them. So we create awareness in our dialogue sessions about the role of the hub and what services they can provide to the community. So that is also helping community people to access the services at the hub. So these are some of the things, and the president could say more about.
Yeah, but during our interaction with communities, we noticed that the police have very serious resource